Guys, you are welcome to Countdown Central. You are going to have a lovely time today. Yes, today was another beautiful day of football, European football, and I'm sure you had fun the same way that I did. Of course, I'm not too happy with the result, but I'll tell you all about that later. Now, let me give you a quick rundown of the things that we're going to be talking about today before we get right into the meat, because I do not want to waste time with any frivolities. Guys, no time to waste time. First, we're going to be talking about the match that just ended, PSG versus Arsenal. We're going to be analyzing that match and telling you why Arsenal lost, how PSG won. We're going to be telling you the deep analysis of what went down in that match. Then from there, we're going to be talking about the head-to-head, of course, and we're also going to be talking about the countdown for today. Now, we'll be counting down on the top 10 biggest transfer moves this summer window thus far, because so much has been happening in the transfer market. We're going to be talking about all of that. Then we'll also talk about how that Liverpool, in fact, the Liverpool is on our roast today. In our roast segment, it is Liverpool that we're going to be roasting today. So I'm sure you're going to also have fun with that. Then, of course, we are also going to be talking about the World Cup. Today, on our World Cup watch, is England. We'll be talking about England and their squad list and how that it is controversial. I mean, a lot of people are complaining, a lot of people are happy that they are going to the World Cup, but we'll talk about all of that later. Now, just so that we don't waste too much time, I want us to just dive right into the PSG versus Arsenal match that they just finished. Listen, let me start by telling you that I'm not happy at all with the result. I am not happy at all. Yes, I am not an Arsenal fan. I'm a Man U fan, but I'm not happy at all with that result. Why? Because I was rooting for Arsenal. Listen, I'm not a very hateful fan. I don't say because this team is always going against, it's my rival, it's our rival, then I'll now be having hateful thoughts towards them. No, I wanted Arsenal to actually win because I have my own national interests in Arsenal, in the person of Saka, Madueke, and what's his guy's name? Eze. So I wanted Arsenal to win, but unfortunately they did not win. Now, if I am to blame somebody for that loss, I'll put the blame fully on Arteta's doorstep, and I'll tell you why. Now I understand why Arsenal have been bottling the league for the past 3 seasons. Now I understand. Thank God they were able to win this league. Listen, if it were up to Arteta, if the last game, assuming Man City did not lose that game that they lost, I am telling you, if Arsenal had needed the last game to win the league, they probably would not have won that game. Now I know that Arsenal, they are born bottlers. See, that is just a statement of fact. Now let me tell you why I said so. How do you qualify for a final? And you qualified with a very pristine record. Your results were very good. You have been playing beautifully well. Your gameplay has been very entertaining and very productive and very result oriented. All of a sudden, you now qualified for the final and you are supposed to meet with PSG. Now tell me, why did Arteta respect PSG so much? He overly respected PSG. I don't understand. Was he scared that they will not be able to play a PSG man-to-man? Was he scared? Because if you ask me, if you look at the players on the pitch, man-to-man, I don't think PSG was a better team compared to Arsenal. Now everybody keeps talking about the midfield of PSG, See, if Arsenal fielded the right players in the midfield, there is no way PSG would have been able to take that midfield from them. But Arsenal they attempted. Let me tell you the mistake that Arteta made. Number one, Arteta gave PSG too much respect. Number two, they started the game on the defensive right from the get-go. They just went and started defending. Listen, defensive play is also a style of football. I mean, there is nothing wrong with defensive play, but this is why I have an issue. If you are playing defensive, you must be prepared to counter. You can't just be playing defensive when, assuming you are leading 2 goals, you are leading with 2 goals or 3 goals. I will understand if you say you want to defend all through the match. I will understand. But you cannot be starting a game 0-0 and you just go from the get-go and say you want to start defending. How do you want to defend for 90 minutes without conceding? Now, like I was saying, if your strategy is to defend, I have no problem with that. But you must put in place a very good counter-attacking strategy. You should be able to counter-attack. Now, Arteta went and started defending without even making any provision for counter. The goal that they scored, the goal that Kai Havertz scored, it just happened. It just happened. It wasn't as if they worked it out. No, that's not how to play football now. That's not how to play football. Now you defended for 90 minutes. Then another reason why Arteta, why Arsenal lost that match was because they did not bring Eze in. How do you bring? Oh, I don't know what is wrong with some of these coaches. Let me tell you why I said so. At the beginning of the season, when they bought Eze and Gyökeres, you know what I told a friend of mine? He's an Arsenal fan. I told him, I said, I believe strongly that this season should be the season that Arsenal will win, because I feel that with a player like Eze, with so much creativity, they will have a much better chance at winning matches. Now, you have a player like Eze, you now put him on the bench for 90 minutes, and you now told everybody to be defending. See, if you watch the game that Arsenal played, you will find that even the players in Arsenal that normally would have some creative spark. They could not bring out that creative spark. Why? Because Arteta already conditioned them to go and play defensive. Look at Saka. Saka played more of defensive role, more of a defensive role than an attacking role today. Saka was not able to make any offensive move all game. Saka was very average. The only time that I saw Saka that he did well was when he was defending in his own 18 box. It just doesn't make sense. How do you play football like that? Now I understand why Arteta has been bottling the league for so long. Like I said, if not for the fact that Man City dropped the ball, they would not have lost that league. I don't know. See, Arteta needs to. You need to wake up. See, all Arteta and Arsenal need to work on is their mentality. That's all they need to work on. If it is about the team, they already have a solid team. They have a very solid team. But you can't tell me that you are playing a match like this and you put Eze on the bench for 90 minutes. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. If Eze had started that match and if you had played with confidence, if only Arteta had confidence in his team, they would have beaten PSG. Remember the game that PSG played against Chelsea? Chelsea came out and played against PSG, and Chelsea realized that this PSG team is not even all that. And they beat PSG 3-0. That's the way to play football now. I'm not happy at all with the approach of Arteta in this game. I'm not happy at all. And you not let anything you not let everything to penalty shootout. Penalty shootout is anybody's game. Arteta just went there to play safe. Listen, it is the person that takes the risk that benefits more. You must be ready to take some level of risk now. Arteta just went there and played safe. I'm sure in his mind he was thinking that, okay, even if we're able to lose their penalty shootout, at least people will not blame me too much. I'm blaming you. I'm blaming you. I don't like that game. Of course, I'm not an Arsenal fan, like I said, but I'm blaming you. That's not how to play football now. Play this game. Play this game. Play this game. You have a very, very solid defense. And Mosquera played beautifully well until he considered that penalty kick that what's his name scored. That this World Footballer of the Year scored. Mosquera, in fact, the defense did well, I must say. They did very, very well. Because if you look at the gameplay, especially in the first half, you will notice that Kvaratskhelia and what's this guy's name? This World Footballer of the Year, this boy, what's his name again? Ousmane Dembele. You will notice that they clipped Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. They clipped them. They did not do anything in the first half. All through the first half, the PSG was only able to create one scoring chance, and it wasn't even a good scoring chance. But the problem I have is you cannot go into a game and expect to defend all game and expect not to concede. You will concede at some point now. You will concede, and at the time when they started in the first half, they were defending higher on the field. But after some time, they now dropped back and allowed PSG to. No. See, I'm not happy at all with that result. I'm not happy at all with that result. Arsenal needs to do better. See, for Arsenal, it is not about gameplay. It is not about players. They have the right material that they need to win any trophy. And I believe Arteta is also a good coach. But what they need to work on is their mentality. They need to work on their mindset. You can't go into a game scared now. If you go into a game scared, you will definitely lose that game. You will lose the game. So, see, these guys, they are better do something. They are better work on their mindset. Next season is going to be tough. And I want Man U to win this the next season. Man U is just. Let's see how the summer will pan out. Let's see the players that Man U will go for. At least now they're talking about Edison. But we'll get to that. When it's time for us to talk about the transfer news and all of that, we'll get to the players that Man U is looking at. Now, if you want to talk about the player of the match, this game that just ended, for me, my player of the match, on the side of PSG, I'll give it to Kvaratskhelia. Because Kvaratskhelia, in spite of the fact that sometimes they were even double teaming him, but he was still able to make things happen and he still gave them that penalty that they used to level up. So Kvaratskhelia did very, very well. Apart from Kvaratskhelia, I think he's the only, because the game was a very cagey game, I must say. The game was cagey. So they did not give room for players to express themselves. That's why Arteta is supposed to have introduced Eze a lot earlier than he did. You know? So no, but they did not really shine that much. But this guy did very well, Kvaratskhelia. Then on the side of Arsenal, I'm going to give the man of the match to Kai Havertz. Not because he played too well, but because of that goal he scored. That goal was a top draw goal. That goal was beautiful, and he used his brain to score that ball. That goal was more of a brain work than a leg work. So I'm going to give the man of the match to him if I were to pick the man of the match on the side of Arsenal. Now, listen, Arteta got his tactics wrong. He did not do well. He didn't do well at all. He didn't do well. But anyhow, let's just proceed. Now, let's talk a little bit about PSG. PSG just retained the Champions League. Do you know how big that is? Not too many club sides have been able to retain it. I think, off the top of my head, it's only Real Madrid I can think of that has retained the Champions League. So that is a very elite class to belong to. PSG just retained the Champions League. That is massive. That is massive. Remember that when Messi, Neymar were there, they were not able to win the league. Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, when they were there, they were not able to win that Champions League. But now, without those 3 players, and those 3 players are big, but they were not able to win it now. But guess what? I think the person that is creating all of this magic, that is creating all of this magic is their coach, Luis Enrique. Is the one creating all of this magic, because since he came to that team, he has been working wonders with the boys, and he's been doing very, very well. Most of those players, if you ask me, you really cannot qualify them as world-class players, if you ask me. But as a team, they have been doing very well. I mean, they have become world beaters under Luis Enrique, and I must salute him for that. Arsenal had better go back and work on their mentality. That's the only thing they need to work on. They don't need to start talking too much about. Of course, if they want to buy some more players, fine. But that is not their problem. Their problem has to do with mindset. Let them go and work on their mindset. So that's that for the match that just ended. Now let's head straight to the trending section. Guys, you know that normally we always do the trending segment first, but today, because this match is still hot, that's why I just said, okay, let's talk about it first and get it out of the way. I hope you enjoyed that segment. Now let's head straight to the trending segment. Now,